70 miles per hour this morning.
Right, and will we match our 80 and 90 mile an hour wind gusts, near 100 mile an hour wind gusts that we had just yesterday? Handful of tornadoes reported as well, hail 3 inches in diameter, so it was active and it is going to stay active, but 'tis the season, May into June. We do typically see a lot of severe weather. We'll get that again today into Colorado, northeastern Colorado, by the way. We do have a threat for tornadoes, hopefully in wide open spaces here into eastern Colorado, very flat as well, going into the plains. There is the potential for winds over 75 miles an hour, as Jim mentioned, already seeing some of those stronger gusts with these thunderstorms, and they're only going to get bigger as the day goes on. There's your tornado condition index of a 3 out of 10. Yes, 10 is the highest, but you still have the possibility of seeing a tornado. This complex has just been cranking, and look at it getting a little bit better organized here with some very strong winds. I guarantee you coming out of this as it kind of congeals together into a more well-defined complex of thunderstorms. When we first started, it was kind of messy, and now it's looking like it's getting its act together, and that means that this thing is screaming down 49, and we are seeing some very strong winds, blinding rain with this, also 44, giving us a heck of a ride here as well. We have multiple flash flood warnings. We've already had reports of flooding in basement, people having to be rescued from some of the flash flooding, severe thunderstorm warnings here, and those extend basically from Ozark down towards Branson along 65, a heavily traveled road here. Ponce de Leon, Reed Springs, we were just talking about you. You're now getting hammered. That's all going to be moving east. Swan, this is headed your way. Branson, if you're looking westbound, I don't know if we have any cameras out of Branson. It's a very popular travel destination for people here into Branson. Watch out for some strong thunderstorms. And if you're new to this area, I would be extra careful if you're not used to severe weather like this. Now, this had mentioned a tornado, had a tornado tag on it. You've got to watch where we have these little notches. You can get inflow and you can get things to spin up. And so what Veronica was just showing you is, okay, do we have something trying to spin up right here? That is a possibility. And notice the red are the winds going away from the radar. The green is coming towards. So we have a lot of just overall wind energy here, but could that be a little notch that's trying to start to develop? It's something that we will keep our eye on. And of course, the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service will keep their eye on. You have a velocity of 41 miles an hour. That minus doesn't mean the winds are negative. That means it's going in an opposite direction. So we're going to take you down to our next severe thunderstorm warning here into Anderson, Coy, and Noel. Notice we don't have that tornado tag on this one here, but you're going to have winds strong enough to potentially mimic tornado damage. So you have to keep that in mind as well. Everything is just dripping down 49. There's your 70 mile an hour gust into Oklahoma, Miami, Tulsa, not far from here as well. And so this is a very powerful system that is continuing to not only pump out the potential damaging winds and the potential of a spin up of a tornado, but huge rainfall here. You're talking 2-3 inches an hour. We had moisture coming in with a low level jet. We have a lot of oomph in the atmosphere, and you're talking a month or more of rainfall in just a matter of 6 hours. So here's your multiple roads flooded in Neosho. Also fire rescue reporting multiple homes and victims stranded in vehicles in and around the Joplin area. So just a terrible scene starting out this morning. And remember, everyone's still kind of groggy, getting their act together, trying to get out the door. And so definitely slow it down on this Monday morning. But there's the wind streaming up, the low-level jet bringing up some of that moisture. And if you look at the upper levels, you are getting some flow off the Pacific as well. So it's juicy out there, 60, 70 degree dew point temperatures. That's just one of many systems. That's going to continue to drop south and lose its strength. But we have this upper-level energy that's going to be rotating around, causing instability and storms to fire up as we head through the day. And then we have more that will be coming across the plains. Remember, I was saying there's a tornado threat in Colorado. We got some strong winds here, southwest flow. This is just showing the low-level jet. But if you go up in the atmosphere, we've got a nice southwest flow that's coming in, Jim. And by the way, this is only today. This continues into tomorrow with a even bigger system.
And Wednesday and Thursday.
Oof, right? When you see big trees like that, you know those are not supposed to be in the water. And here's a look at those numbers for you. There's Huntsville, 6.1, 6.4 in the last 24 hours, but a lot of it coming down in just a very short spurt, not necessarily in just the last 24 hours. But it's not just northern Alabama. We've got it in Georgia, Tennessee, parts of North Carolina, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and also in the northern portions here of Arkansas. So we've got a moist flow coming around, high pressure at the surface, low level jet. In fact, there's even some Pacific moisture that's trying to get into the system as well with some of the upper level winds. And we do have this piece of energy that's going to linger around really until our Wednesday, and that's going to keep things just unsettled and cloudy. Underneath this, it'll take our temperatures more closer to average, but we do still stay pretty hot in a lot of spots for us here, unless you're kind of right under those clouds and showers. So here is that upper level low spinning. You can see some of that moisture flow cutting across Texas. We do have an overall southwest flow coming all the way from the Pacific. Then we have the flow off the Gulf as well. So our dew point temperatures, 60s and 70s. It is definitely juicy out there. Man, I can't get over the development of that storm coming together there. Our cluster of thunderstorms in Missouri, that's going to drop south into Arkansas. And then watch how we see more scattered showers and thunderstorms rotating underneath this system. And that is going to continue not only as we go through our Tuesday, but also as we head into our Wednesday. Things do stay scattered in nature. So you might get hit and then be totally fine for the day and not have any problems. But Jim, even into our Wednesday, you can see the clouds and showers. Our next system, which by the way, behind this, much, much cooler.
Oh, yeah. The cold front's coming all the way.
It is a cold front.
Coming all the way to the east.
Yes.
By the way, isn't it wild watching?
Steph, Jim.
It has been 11 months since Texas Hill Country was completely overwhelmed by catastrophic flooding. 28 people at summer camp, including 25 young girls, tragically died when the Guadalupe River quickly rose, flooding the campground.
As camps across the country prepare for another summer season here, the American Camp Association met with congressional leaders and many experts to focus on safety and emergency preparedness. The ACA also announced a new collaboration with First Street to use physics-based climate models for more resilient long-term planning.
Now, today we are joined by Chief Science Officer Ed Kearns from First Street. Ed, thank you for being with us today. Let's first go back to lessons learned from last year's tragic Camp Mystic flooding. What needed to change and what changes are being made?
The main thing is to raise the awareness of where
100-degree feels like temperature.
That is going to definitely be hot. And things are heating up in the tropics as well, at least in the eastern Pacific. The Atlantic, no tropical development expected in the next 7 days. We do have Tropical Storm Boris in Invest 92E. We're going to start with Boris here, moving northeast at a whopping 2 miles an hour. So very, very slowly, which is not good. You never want a system to be moving very slow. A, they can either strengthen, or B, if they're dumping rain, it could be just catastrophic flooding. And that's one of the things we're worried about with all of this convection associated with this very unorganized, weak tropical storm is the rain. And we mentioned it doesn't even need to be a named system in order to have deaths from flooding, in order to have catastrophic issues. Obviously, the stronger the winds, the bigger the problems, but this is going to pull ashore around Acapulco, and it's going to continue to rain out. There are tropical storm warnings, though I'm not really worried about the wind. It's more the water with this one. And notice over the next 7 days, we have a lot of rainfall here from Mexico all the way down to Central America. 'Tis the season, as this area just off the coast of both of those places typically does give us a lot of systems that develop and also a lot of convection, too. So we have our two systems here and here. And then if you look into the Gulf, there is nothing going on. We've got upper level spin here, and that is also making sure that we don't have any sort of development. But I want you to watch our two spins, this one off of Nicaragua and then Boris off of Mexico. And you'll see the energy. Okay, some of that energy comes north. You get other energy into that. Then you get a little bit of that energy with that system off of Nicaragua. And then look what happens into the Bay of Campeche. Low pressure. Now, will this get named? Right now, it doesn't look like it'll intensify to a named system, but pulling ashore here could bring some more rain into Mexico. This is a very active part of the Gulf and the Bay of Campeche during this time of year. This is where we see more systems develop than not. And we also have the Central American gyre, which is right in this vicinity where we see systems develop. Long story short, you get a lot of convection, a lot of low pressures to develop, and they can spawn systems. Notice we have still 100% of the season remaining. Now is the time to prepare. As you go into late August, early September, that's when we really peak out, but you might as well get your box of supplies organized now. Big tree tree is not supposed to be in the middle of water, right? And you see debris also. So there it is for you. There's the enclosure. All right. Well, hope you looked quick because it was right there at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen where half their enclosure was waterlogged. And this is the vicinity, northern Alabama, Huntsville, Muscle Shoals, where we had over 6 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. You're talking about a month's worth, and a lot of that happened in less than 24 hours. That's just where we show our parameters here. So we have flood watches, not only in Alabama, but Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Because we were getting a flow off the Gulf, by the way, from surface features, also that low-level jet is going to be bringing moisture. And then we have a flow actually coming all the way from the Pacific. If you go up in the atmosphere and look at the winds, there's a little piece of disturbance. That hangs with us really till Wednesday into the northeast. If you're under that, your temperatures are going to kind of go back to normal. But overall, we're going to stay very, very hot, which Jim is going to talk about in just a minute. There's your upper level energy. Look at this flow. Follow that stream back across Texas. And that southwest flow is originating really back towards the Pacific. Then you have that moisture coming off the Gulf. So you're talking about 67-degree dew points, giving us a lot of oomph in the atmosphere, or joules per kilogram at 4,000, which is on the higher end of the chart. And you can see how this is all going to evolve through the day. More storms firing up here as you see that counterclockwise flow of that upper level energy rotating through. And because you have so many areas with scattered storms, I do worry about flights. Because there's going to be a lot of, okay, we got to go this way to get around, you got to go that way, got to go that way. So we could have flight delays due to this. Notice as we head through our Tuesday and Wednesday, we stay into the Great Lakes. And then Wednesday, you really see that next piece of energy show up, even though we will be seeing it as we head into tomorrow as well. But you'll see our first system, and then you'll see the second system drop in on Wednesday. Behind that, we're going to see much cooler air coming in for us. But ahead of that, we still have the showers, the storms, and some decent rainfall to come. So how cold will it go? How low will our temperatures drop, Jim, from ahead to behind that?
I love the fact that it's pouring in Oklahoma.